Okay, hello everybody. I am here to do a review on, this is a Sig P224 in a 9mm, and normally I don't do reviews. I've done a few on some of my problem guns, and this one in particular I actually like, but I'm also disappointed because after I bought it, I purchased this in January, the end of January 2018, and there was a deal going on at our local big supplier, and they were selling these for $8.99 out the door, which seemed like a deal below MSRP. I think it was like $1,050 or something recommended, so it was a little deal. And I bought it, and I came home and I realized, first of all, it doesn't have the option to add the pinky grip extension for the magazines. There's very few holsters for it. Oh, and by the way, they stopped making it. I don't know if I'm in the video at this particular time. Hi. Hello. Okay, off of me. Thanks. So the issue that I had is apparently Sig stopped making this. I think it was made in, I'm told, 2012, 13 roughly, and it ended in 2017, and it just kind of discontinued. A lot of good comments about it, a lot of negatives. The biggest negative is around the grip, the grip and the magazine. So my first comment is it comes with this lovely sandpaper grip that you can see has the Sig logo, and kind of looks, I guess it's supposed to be ergonomic. It fits the gun pretty good, but it has a hollow sound. Somebody pointed out on a YouTube video that it sounds hollow when you do the decock, and they were absolutely right, and once I heard that, it drove me nuts. So, this is garbage. I absolutely despise it. I think they call this a E2 grip. So I went, first thing I did was I modified my magazines, I'll show you that. But then I also purchased the Extreme grips, which are from Sig, and you can get a close-up here of the grip. So you can see it's Sig's. You can actually go to a couple aftermarket companies that make them. I'm told that this is made by one of the big-name aftermarket grips for Sig, and then they just put the logo on it. That may be the case, I don't know. But it fits very nice, and I like the look and the feel. So, safety check. Get our little stupid plug out of there. So first of all, I'm just going to comment. The grips that they set, magazines that they sell you with the gun have a flat floor plate, which are flush, basically like that, flush to the end of the magazine, to the end of the grip, and you can literally get not much more than that. So you're grabbing with one middle finger, and your second finger kind of touches and it falls off, and when you go to fire it tends to want to lift up, so you find yourself gripping really hard to hold onto it, which in my case I found that it caused me to drift a little down. So what I did here, it's a regular 224 magazine. And this guy here is, I don't know if you can see it, it's a Pierce grip for an XDM Springfield, and this is actually for a 45. So it's a 45 double stack, and basically you hollow out the inside of it a little bit with a Dremel on the inside. There's actually a video on YouTube, a guy shows you how to do it. I took the floor plate out. This it's very hard to get out, but you can see on the magazine the spring here, I clipped the end of the spring as it turns the corner to get rid of the bump that catches the floor plate. I didn't need it, and I found that it actually takes up some of my magazine capacity. It makes you have to force that 10th round in a little bit. So basically the XDM foot plate extension, all I did here is I took a Dremel and I walked it through here, and I just removed about 50 thousandths off each side. You can go a little more, but basically you take a caliper or a scale and you measure up the width of that, and you want this to be a little bit smaller than the width of that. This one is about 10 thousandths, 0.010, smaller than this. So when it goes on, it actually, the spring's not in place, but you can see it goes on and it kind of just barely drags, and it's got a nice tight fit. I also went in when I was done and I took a little bit extra stock off of right here, so that when it's done, you end up flush at the face right here on the inside down there. Now this one has more of a bevel on it. I actually polished it a little bit before I put it together because I wanted a nice smooth corner. The second one, I actually left it more of a sharp, but they're the same thing. This one you can see that it has a lip, it's a little bit raised. This one is smooth, and you can see I beveled this. I just hit it with a file, and then when I was done, I ran it across my buffing wheel on the bench grinder. So I did nothing to this top edge all the way around. That's original, except for right there where I polished that one off. This one you can see I left it perfectly the same. So all I did, open this up until it's a tight fit, clip the spring, and then to put it together, not liking putting that in. Okay, so just like you'd put it together normally, but without the floor plate. And then when you push it back, that sucker is not coming off. I have no reason to need the floor plate. I know you can take the floor plate out of a 229 magazine, modify it, and make it fit, but I had no sense in doing that. I couldn't see any justification for it. A little bit of rattle to it. That's just the double stack. It doesn't bother me. About the gun, there's a little bit of noise in there, and I actually think it's the sear just rattling, but it's a really tight gun. The magazine fits in there very nicely, and you can see with the extreme grips on there, it's a nice look. I like the feel, I like the look. I don't like how high the screw is. I'm probably going to get another screw. That's the original screws from Sig. They set a little high, and I don't want to modify the grip to recess it further. I'm actually going to grind the back of the screw to relieve it so it goes down further, or maybe go with a star head, and then I don't have to have that large pan head on the top of the screw. But anyway, as far as the gun, it's extremely accurate. I have had wonderful results. I may post my first video of when I took it out to the range, my actual first shot. First couple magazines, I had a few failure to fully close. So when after it would load the round and it would come forward, it would stop right about there. And you just had to give it a push. And that was, I think, just because it's so tight. I use Winchester ball ammo, the full metal jacket, 100 round value boxes. And I put a couple hundred rounds through it. I'm really impressed by the contact surface here. With a few hundred rounds through this, there's no scraping, no scoring. It's a perfect match. It's a perfect blend. So you don't have a high spot or any gall or anything. It's such a well-made machine. I'm a Kimber fan. I used to be a Sig fan. I liked Sigs because of the decock. I don't care for the safety. I like the double action, single action. I like the position of the control, same as the 226. This does fit my TAC Ops and Blackwater magazines, so you can fit a 20 round magazine. This is obviously just the 10. It'll fit the 229 magazines, the 226 magazines, but you're going to have this goofy spacer between the end of the magazine, the foot plate, and the grip. So it's kind of goofy. But I suppose if you're at the range and you want to have a high capacity magazine, go for it. I really like the grips on here. You can see the manufacture of them. I mean, it's just a really nice seam. There's a pin in the base of this machined into the mating pieces of the two halves, so it actually aligns itself, and they're machined as a matched set. so you don't have any mismatch, and there's no hollow sound. It's a nice fit. So I wanted to kind of show off the grips. I wanted to talk about the gun itself, show you the magazines, and again, I will post a video later of the range. I'm able to, at 75 feet, maintain a 2-inch grouping comfortably, freehand, just no weaver stance. Before I put on the magazine extension, which doesn't add capacity, by the way, it just gives you extra room. With that, I've got pretty good sized hands. With that, I can actually fit easy fingers on there, and the third one catches nicely. So it's a nice fit. From here, I can do all my controls. Everything is right there, one-handed, and it's a really nice gun. It's heavy enough. I think they call this their first all-metal compact. It's very heavy. You can ask my wife. She says it's too heavy. But I really like it. It's got everything I liked in the 226. I had a 230 melted edges and the Sig Shop, all that. That was very nice also. I liked it a lot, but it was a single stack. The double stack, I have a wide web on my hand, and you can see that when that goes in there, it just naturally fits it really nice. A single stack just doesn't feel right, and it tends to float in my hand, where this, it just fits right in there perfect. So it's not real easy to concealed carry. It's a little bulky. I did pick up an in the waist cheesy holster, but it's a Kydex and cloth combo, and it's got a little bit of retention to it. I mean, I wouldn't stand on my head and expect it to stay in there, but in the small of your back, that sits nice. This is exposed over the belt. You got your t-shirt over the top. It doesn't print really, as long as you're not bending over picking things up. You're not really going to see it. There's not a whole lot of holster options. I saw this was actually for 229, that holster, and it works. So again, I'm not too familiar with the differences between the 229 and the 224, but I really like the look and feel of this. It's a nice gun, very well made. I think it stands up to the Sig name and reputation. And so far, you know, it comes with the night sights. I'm told that the slide is stainless with a nitron finish, but then I was also told that it is steel. I'm not sure about that. But everything on it so far, I'm showing no wear other than a little scratch I got on the frame right there. We don't need to zoom in on that. And I just touched it up with some black paint, just because I'm a little OCD about that. But anyway, any questions, feel free to post. That's all I got, and thanks for watching.